Hello, today's video I'm going to show you how to put on a bridge. Sometimes the bridge falls down. It's not normal for this to happen. It's not common for this to happen, but sometimes when the student drops their violin, the bridge can fall down. Um, and so this video is going to show you as a parent how to put it back on, because obviously you can't play the violin without having the bridge on it. So as you can see, the bridge is not glued, and there's nothing that kind of holds it up besides the pressures from the pressure from the strings pushing down on it. So what you need to do is you need to make sure the strings are relatively loose. They're kind of loose. See how they move around, so that they're loose on the strings are on the violin, but the strings are loose. And so what you need to do is you need to find the bridge is not symmetrical. So if you can see, one side of the bridge is shorter than the other side. In this case, this side is shorter than this side, and the short side would be the side that is going to be on the E string. So the bridge is going to be like this. This would be the incorrect way of putting the bridge, because this is the tall side. The tall side has to be on the left side. If you have the violin looking at you, like this, the tall side is going to be on the G string on the left side. So what you need to do is put the bridge under the strings. And now before you start lifting it up, you need to make sure that the strings align with the grooves. There's grooves. There should be 4 grooves on the bridge. You just need to put the string right on top of the grooves. See this G string, so that's exactly where the strings will fall, is on the grooves of the bridge. You don't want to be putting it just randomly anywhere and then bringing it up, because that'll create more additional grooves on the bridge that don't really belong there. These strings are spaced out because of those grooves. For example, it wouldn't make sense to have all the strings very close together, because that would be almost impossible to play. You want the strings to be evenly spaced out, and the best way to do that is to follow the grooves that are already there. So you're gonna hold the violin like this in your lap, with your 2 hands, the thumbs on the bottom of the bridge, and your pointing fingers on the top. You're gonna kind of just lift it up, and this should be either relatively easy or a little bit difficult, depending on how tight your strings are. So that's one of the reasons why you don't want to do this with full tensioned strings. You want to release the tension with the pegs, loosen them up a little bit, so that you can lift that bridge up like that, like so. So now how to know where to put the bridge. There are some grooves here, right here on these fancy looking things. These are called F-holes. There are some grooves on those F-holes right there. That's exactly where you want to line up the bridge. So try to do your best to line up that bridge right there with those grooves. So it's about right here. Now another thing that you need to watch out for, so that the grooves would correct this type of placement. See this up and down placement. You don't want the bridge up here. So you put it right there, right next to the grooves. Now another placement that you need to watch out for is this type of placement. You want the strings to have an equal border right to the right side and to the left side, with this an equal margin with this fingerboard. So if I do this, I can see that this G string comes out to the left of the fingerboard, and there's a lot of space here. So you also want to try to align that to be in the middle, and double check the grooves on these F-holes. Alright, and now another thing, and the last thing that we have to watch out for, and you have to turn your violin like this to see that is the violin bridge, if it's bent. So for example, let me show you a bent violin bridge would look like this. See how that is not perfectly straight up? And you can see that when you look at it through the side, that is a danger. When you start tightening those strings, that bridge is going to snap. So do your best for the bridge to be fully 90 degrees from the violin itself, And then we can start tightening the strings and start tuning the instrument. When you do this, you want to tighten the strings up a little bit and then double check your bridge, because every time you tune from the pegs, it's going to want to tilt the bridge to the left. So you want to realign everything. And every time you do this, it's going to be a little bit harder because of that tension that's pressing down on the bridge. So at this point, I suggest that you watch my video on how to tune a violin with the pegs. That'll be the next step in having your violin, getting it up and running for practice.